Hello and welcome to another episode of Survive the Apocalypse, Survive the Wild. As you can see, I'm on the beach. We've come out onto the east coast of Britain. We're going to do a couple of nights camping. I've got a fishing rod with me, so we're going to try a bit of fishing. I must admit I'm not massively sure on edibles on the coastline. I know there's samphire. I know the names of some, but it's been that long. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, there's things like sea beet, which I'm sure I've tried a long time ago, and I'm not keen on the taste of it. It's sweet to start with, but it leaves a really, really horrible burning sensation at the back of your throat, and that's what I remember from the last time I had it several years ago. So what I've done is I've just brought some ration packs with me, basically packets of couscous and some oats. So that's what we're mainly probably going to be relying on, unless we catch some fish. We might have a go at like getting some lugworm, although I haven't got a shovel with me, so that's going to be pretty hard. I know in this area there are razor clams, but they are further out than what the tide tends to go, so they're sort of beyond reach in this area. I know there's other places in the country where you can get them easier. I think where there's sort of like less extreme tides. I mean, here there's probably well, in the region of about 14 metre tides here. So it's a massive tidal range, but it's to that side of me we've got a extensive dune system with salt marsh. The nearest town is 3 miles in that direction. There used to be a lagoon here that was a freshwater lagoon, which I was intending to take water from that and boil it to sterilise it and use that as drinking water. I tested it on my way out here, and I think there's been a couple of big like storm surges in the last few years around here, and I mean the coastline is very heavily eroded from when I remember. Where I'm stood now, from where I was probably stood 2 years ago, roughly on this same stretch of beach, this bit of dune here that you can sort of see, you might be able to see the grass there, was probably another 50-60 metres that way. So that's how much we've lost on this section of coastline. I mean, the East Coast is notorious for losing, for coastal erosion, and it's certainly happening on this this stretch here. So, but anyway, I'm going to head a bit further down, maybe about another mile or so, find a good camp spot. I'm going to show you sort of like how to pitch a tent in sand. You can't use the standard little tent pegs that come with your tent when you buy it. So you have to improvise on doing something else, which I'll show you. There's ways you can do it. There's always a way. So anyway, I'm going to head off down that direction, and we'll catch up with you in a bit. Okay, so we found what looks like an ideal location. Slightly raised up, tide shouldn't get me here. Flattish surface, fairly clearish from the grass. I mean, sand can be quite hard, but I've slept on far worse. The other bonuses with this location is, to that side there's a creek that runs along there and out to sea, so no one can come in from that side or that side. obviously they can't come in that way. There's only one way that anyone can come in or get out from there, and I'm pretty much at the end. We are about 4.5, 5 miles now from the nearest town. On the other side of that creek there is a nature reserve. I can see people on that other side. Doesn't concern me, they can't get over here. So I've just picked up a couple of things on the way. Some of it's just rubbish, but in terms of, I mean, I've got a few more bits here, but when I said earlier that tent pegs are useless in the sand because they're not deep enough, or they're not long enough to drive in deep, and there isn't enough anchorage. So, you know, I've got a few of these sticks here, which I can drive them into the ground. I also found this, which I can really hammer in. Find another piece of wood that's reasonably straight, which there's plenty knocking around here, or well, there should be enough anyway. I can either like tie the other end to the ridge lines of the tents, weigh the other bits and bobs down with either sand or rocks. So that's pretty much how we're going to do it. I'll run through that in a minute. I'll do the whole setup, what we're going to do, and then once we've got the tent up, I'm going to split a bit of wood. We're going to have a wee fire. Don't need it for warmth. It's you know, there's a bit of a breeze that's slightly cooling, but it's quite humid. I think the temperature tonight is going to get down to about no more than 14, 15. I might even be, you know, quite warm in my sleeping bag, which does go down to, I've got a summer sleeping bag that goes down to plus 13. So, you know, I'm not going to get cold tonight by any means. So yeah, well, we'll set camp up now and crack on. In here, I'm just going to take my hat off. I've got pretty much everything I need. That's just a few other bits of camera gear, like spare battery, and a GoPro in there. The GoPro I've brought more as a spare than anything else. I probably will do a bit of shooting on it, especially if I'm going to be doing any walking and talking. What else we got? Water. I've got another couple of bottles in there, which I filled up. I've already drunk that much of that bottle. That's because the humidity, sort of sweat. When it's humid, you sweat a lot more, because you're hotter. The environment doesn't necessarily around you isn't hot, any hotter. It's just that with sweat, it's designed to evaporate and take the heat away from you. But when the higher the humidity, the less effective that is. You know, if there's a lot of moisture already in the air, it can't then evaporate off you as easily. So what your body does, it compensates, and you sweat more. So yeah. Anyway, this is my one-man tent. It is a high gear I got from a store called Go Outdoors, which started in my hometown, Sheffield, I believe. Now, you know, I think they've got stores all over the place. You know, they've done really well, and I hope they continue to do well because they're a good outdoor company. So, bag, because it's a bit breezy, I'm just going to put that there, and it's just, you know, it's easy. All I've done to tie that up is there's just like a bootlace tie. That goes in the bag. You know, just always make sure when you finish with something you put it away, especially when you are out and about. So I mean, it's pretty easy to go up, so we'll just we'll show you how we're going to do that, especially with this type of setup. You know, it's not as easy when you're doing it out here, because obviously the sand, you know. So right, I'll just I'll move the camera around and we'll show you. Okay, so what I've already done here is I've driven this this stick in here, this that I found. I've just put a few rocks. This one wasn't quite as stable, so I'm going to take the line on this side first. And we're just going to do, in fact, I'll bring the camera close and I'll show you the exact knot that I'm going to do. It's the same what you'd do for a tarp, or you know, a hammock, anything like that really. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same sort of knot what we'd normally do for any ridge line for a tarp or anything. So all I've done is go round, go under, go back round, create a loop, make another loop here through that loop, and then just pull the two, and then with this loop just pull that down tight. That ain't going anywhere. It's slack at the moment, but once we get the other one on, it'll be okay. Right, so that's the cover. Put that to one side. Pull your tent roughly tight about there, so then I know where roughly to set this. I'm going to set it back, right back here. I'm going to push it in at an angle. There we go. Just flatten the grass down a little bit. And we're basically just going to do the same over there. I've got a lot more cord on this than what I need. So I've threaded that through a few times by the looks of it. Right. So on this side there's two. But what I've done is I've just knotted them together like that there. So just do the same. This side it's a bit easier because you can get that tension on it. Underneath. Back round. Create your loop. Pass your cord underneath, make another little loop, put that through the first loop that you made, and then pull the two down together, and then the last loop that you had in your hand, just pull that nice and tight. That ain't going anywhere. And then the rest of the cord we can just roughly hank up. And then just tuck it there out of the way. Poles. I mean, this bit's pretty much self-explanatory really. You've got on this one, dome tents have two poles that cross over like that. This doesn't, this has two that go like that. So all we do is find the middle bit where it just pass that through there. Try and be clever, poke it into that hole, poke that one into that hole, At the side there's like these little clips. In fact, that's the wrong one. There we go, that's what you get for trying to be clever. Thought it was a bit short. That's better. So, same again. Through there. Pull that up. Pop your side clips on. I mean, you know, if you knew it was going to be really good weather, you know, definitely, you know, if it was not going to rain, it was really, really warm. I mean, all you'd need to do really, you could get away with just this part, and you'd be fine. You know, it just, in a sense, it just keep the bugs off you. You know, if you're in an area where, you know, you knew there weren't any bugs, you know, like mosquitoes and midges, sandflies, then, you know, you just get away with just having a ground sheet even, and just put your sleeping bag straight down on the ground, or even a bivvy bag, you know, over your ground. You know, you'd be fine. But there's, on the coast sometimes, I mean, it was a lovely day when we started off. It's changed a bit, it's clouding up. With the humidity, there's always a chance of rain, so, you know, I don't always want to risk it. So next bit to throw up is the cover. That's going to be a bit more challenging because of the wind. And because of the wind, just sort of like roughly get it in the right place, and then what I'd do is, where the direction of where the wind is coming from, peg that down first. I always go with the middle. Now, it doesn't have to, you know, be something brilliant, just, you know, just something to start with, just so it doesn't blow away on you. So just sort of like get your first side just roughly pegged down. Right. Anyway, I'll just anyway, this is what I'm on about. You know, you can really push that in. It's got, you know, it's a lot thicker, and it means your tent, you know, your rain cover on your tent isn't going to blow away. So, but that's basically it. So I'll just throw up the rest of them, and yeah, and then after that we're gonna get some firewood going. So, I haven't got a pot hanger, but I've got a stick here that's got like a hook on it, so I'm just holding it over. Best thing with couscous, you just have to sort of like heat the water. Just had to add a little bit more water. I didn't quite add enough, but you know, this will be good for. There's 800 calories in here. And then I've got a Twinkie for dessert, thanks to an American friend of mine called Rob. He runs a filmmakers network in Sheffield called South Yorkshire Filmmakers Network, and yesterday was the 4th of July, so he had a little bit of a 4th of July theme thing, and he had Twinkies. I've always wanted a Twinkie ever since I watched Ghostbusters, so I finally got to have a Twinkie, which is great. So hopefully this will be done. Just going to check it. Oh yeah, I've got a new cooking pot. It's a Zebra Billy Can. We've got it on eBay. Costs about 14 quid, I think. Almost. Almost. The trouble is, every time I add water to it, cooling it back now. Just make sure I stir it from the bottom. Yeah, the Zebra Billy Can. Yeah, it's alright, it's a bit heavy. It's pretty much bomb proof though. So, you know, it's brilliant for this environment because it ain't gonna rust. Stainless steel. So yeah, so I'm just gonna cook this up now and get it going. Sit down, chill out, eat some food. Happy days. Morning. So had a pretty decent first night sleep. I've just finished off my couscous from last night because I didn't eat it all. Actually, wasn't quite as hungry as I thought. I did wake up about, I don't know, I'm guessing it was maybe about 2-3 o'clock in the morning. That's pee sort of thing. Yeah, not too bad. The wind died down, which was fantastic. I've just got the sleeping bag out, just laid it out over top of the tent, just to air it off, dry it out. Because if you don't do that, you know, if you do, you know, if you're out for a few days, even if it's pretty dry, you know, it's not raining, you're sweating a lot, you know, during the night. So things get damp, and then come night 2, night 3, something like that, depending on how much you do sweat, you know, your sleeping bag's going to be damp, you're going to be cold. So plan for today is well, the tide's just on its way out now. I've just tried a bit more fishing, didn't come up with anything, so I think we're gonna have a wander down the coast. I'm gonna cross over to the other side of this, sort of like just behind here. When the tide comes in, it's like a massive lagoon. So we're gonna sort of like explore that side, I think, a bit today. Hi, I just had a little wander down. I was just sort of like being packed the tent away and stuff, and I just thought, oh, you know, I'll have a little wander down on the beach for a minute just before I actually put everything away. Just while I'm not carrying my pack. Which I must admit, carrying £30 for a couple of days yeah, I could do with a massage. But anyway, I found this. It's a skull from what I believe to be a seal, grey seal. Very much like a dog. But I think a lot of people call like seals like the Labradors of the sea, because they do look remarkably like Labradors. But yeah, I mean, it's a bit battered. There's a few breaks in it here and there, you know. See where different parts, you know, fuse together. Judging by the size of this, I would imagine it was might have been a female. Looking at around the teeth at the bone, there's a reasonable amount of decay. So, you know, it's got to have been a few years old, and it's actually missing, apart from the 2 teeth there, it's missing 1, 2, 3, 4 teeth at the front, 1 at the side there. I mean, they're fairly fixed in. No, they ain't coming out. You know, they're not wobbling or anything, so it has lost a few teeth. So it's got to be, this one's got to have been fairly old. This might come home with me as a memento from this trip. For a while I have wanted to, it sounds morbid, collect a few animal skulls, bones. Never come across any until today, which is great. So I've got one now for the collection. I've started, that's the start of a collection. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you that, you know, it's quite interesting. Actually, to be fair, it's probably one of the most interesting parts of this trip. Seems I've not been able to get any fish when I've been fishing, not been able to collect any shellfish, just can't seem to get to them. The tide isn't going far enough out. There's no rocks on this coastline, so things like mussels, limpets, winkles, those sorts of shellfish, they're not available to me here. There's no seaweed round on here because, again, there's no rocks. The seaweed that drifts in, you don't want to eat seaweed that's drifted, because you don't know how long it's been drifting for. And given that I know roughly where the nearest rock lines are, where they're going to be. I mean, there will be other stuff out there in the sea at depth, but you're talking 60 miles north of here. Now, judging on the current that I've noticed when I've been casting in, my floats, I'll float fishing for bass. Never tried it before. Hasn't been successful, but anyway, it was going south at pretty much a walking pace. So it would take a couple of days, I reckon, for things like bladderwrack and those sorts of seaweeds to come down here. And it passes a large estuary where it's very polluted. You know, the water that comes out of there. There's about 6 or 7 major rivers that flow into that estuary. So it's not something I want to be tempted to go. Yeah. Anyway, so I just thought I'd show you that. So next, I think what we're going to do now is we're just going to wander off, see what we can find. Okay, so I've been walking now for about an hour and a half, and I've just happened to notice, because I rarely ever look down at my shoes when I'm walking around, I'm always sort of gandering around, but I did happen to notice, I'll stop a second, the front of the rubber on my boot is starting to come away. Now, given that I'm probably going to do, over the next 2 days, 20 mile of walking. I'm really hoping that that holds up before I can get back and get them repaired. So yeah, well, I like these boots as well, so that's why I want to get them repaired. You know, it can just be glued back down. It's not a huge issue. I just hope that the rest of the sole holds up before it all falls apart. So otherwise I'll be a bit buggered out here. Well, not so much here, but more on the way back. I mean, I could walk bare feet, but not ideal. So anyway, yeah. Right, I'm gonna go and stock up on some water, and then we're going to decide on what the next plan of action is. I just walked past a little creek and noticed a lot of little tiny crabs, which I could use for bait, for, well, light on the line. So, you know, I know bass like bait, little crabs, so it's a possibility. We'll have to see. We'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna get some water. Very thirsty now. It's a hot day. Yeah, baking. Right. Catch you guys in a bit. Okay, just a quickie. This sort of shows you how much the coastline can change. Where I'm walking now, as far as I remember, I shouldn't be able to walk here. This all really should be underwater. This is a creek. It was a creek. I'm guessing it's either one of the smaller creeks that's, you know, it's been filled in with sand from a storm, either last year, possibly the year before. I'm hoping the main creek is still open. I've come down here in the anticipation that there would be, you know, some small shore crabs that I could use for bait. Now, if I can't get them, that makes life a lot more challenging. Because if I can't get mud crab, well, shore crab, then I've got to look for something else. I know there are loads of lugworm. I don't have a spade with me. Trying to catch, you know, I could get in, try and dig them up by hand. It'd be very time consuming, and yeah, I probably wouldn't get them. So yeah, we're gonna have to think about things. I have had an idea of, I've seen some razor clam shells knocking around, so they are razor clams. You know, they'll be sort of like at low tide. You see some deer tracks as well, small deer. Water jacks, bump jacks, or Chinese water deer, something like that. I know they get them round in the fens, so they might have moved it round this way. But yeah, the idea was that I could get a fire going. I could boil up salt water or seawater, keep boiling it down, so I get either really saline solution or I get salt. I get salt, I find little breather holes where the razor clams are, put that on there and it draws them out. That's a possibility. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Just thought I'd show you this. There are definitely deer around here. Remember when I said I saw some tracks that were in the sand? It's really, unless unless you've seen these tracks time and time again, it's very difficult to pick out the tracks. But here, it's a bit easier. So you can see the hoof and foot there comes to a point. So I think these are maybe roe deer that are out here. I've seen roe deer in this type of environment. It's too small to be like a monkjack. Sorry, it's too big to be something like a monkjack. There's loads. I mean, there's another track here. Different size, a different animal. So they're clearly going up and down here quite a bit, crossing over. This, where back there where it was really sandy, with the creek, this is it now. It's no sand anymore, it's mud. But this would be a good opportunity to show you this little plant. So here is marsh samphire. It's a little succulent plant, and although it's salty, well, of course it's going to be salty, it's quite nice. Imagine salty asparagus. That's marsh samphire. So anyway, I just thought I'd show you that quickly. Yeah, you don't want to eat too much of that samphire, but I do believe it's a good source of vitamin C, vitamin A, a few others. Can't exactly remember. What's bugging me is this creek's just gone. I mean, it is gone. It really is a game changer in terms of bait, food. Did see a hare. Haven't got my shotgun. Haven't got a shotgun. So I'm just going to follow this down. I'm going to have to move on to slightly higher ground because it's getting a little bit squishy. So yeah, I'm just going to follow this down, see where we end up. And it's like a completely new landscape this now to me. So anyway, yeah, try not to waste too much battery. Okay, you're probably not going to be able to see this, but I'm just walking down to the shoreline now, and right ahead of me, so like dead ahead, there's a seal just poking his head up. He's looking over towards me. I'm going to keep walking. Now, might get a better view of him. Now, we do get grey seals around here. Just had a thought there for doing line fishing. Seals are notorious for just taking your fish off your lines if you do get them, and all you get left with are heads. So, I don't know if you can see him. He's just slowly bobbing along. He's looking straight at us. There we go, grey seal. I'll get a bit of extra height. There he is. I say I'm not uncertain sure how well you can see that. But yeah, grey seal. This distance can't really tell if he's like from like the autumn pupping. Grey seals around here, they pup in the autumn. I did see a dead one earlier. Obviously hasn't made it through whatever disease. Could have been attacked by another seal. They do get aggressive. So yeah, it's a nice sight to see though. You know, already seen a bit of wildlife. Saw a hare. We've just seen a seal. We've seen deer tracks. There's things like oyster catchers, plubbers around. Oh, it's good. I'm just gonna see if I can. I'm gonna have a dig round some of these little casts here. See these? Somewhere around there is going to be a lugworm. How deep it'll be, I don't know. The tide's coming in. So yeah, we're just going to have a ferret around, see if we can find some. If we can, great. If we can't, oh well. Yeah, so alright, I'm gonna get on now. Okay, so don't know how well you'll be able to hear me over the waves, but we're having a go at fishing. So far, not very successful. My line keeps getting tangled. Figured that out. Not done fishing for a long time. It's to do with the tension on the reel. So every other cast I was casting out, the line wasn't getting that tight enough on the reel. So every few goes it was just tangling up. But I think I've sorted it now. I'm trying on the lure with the float. Cast out about half a dozen times, nothing yet. That's fishing. Might not get anything, but we'll just have to see. Hopefully. We've probably got about another hour before it's high tide, maybe. Just sort of judging of where the last tide line was. So yeah, we'll see. Carry on. A few hours yet. Once the tide starts going out, I think that's pretty much it. We'll have to go on to just a lot of rations. I did think I'd probably be on rations the first night, but yeah, right, I'm going to reel this in, cast out again, see where we go. Ooh. Okay, fishing trip. Nah, didn't work. So I'm going to cook up some food now. Getting pretty hungry. It's about 7:15. There is no one around, so I ain't too bothered about starting this fire a bit earlier. I need something to eat. I need something to drink. Got a bit of headache. Probably dehydrated. So yeah, we'll try again with fishing tomorrow. So yeah, I'm going to cook up this and then look at pitching the tent up, try and get an early night or something. Hello, as you can see I've got the tent up. Was a struggle. Luckily I'd collected that firewood. A lot of it I've had to cut into stakes, drive into the ground to actually support it. It's getting late, the sunset, so I reckon it's about 9:30, 10:45ish, something like that. Tide's on its way out. Collected a bit more firewood, just chucked that on. I'm just going to chill out now, just going to tidy up, put a few things away, drink some more water, probably get ready for bed I think. Try and get a good night's sleep. It's supposed to get quite cold tonight, so should be okay though, I think. There's a bit of a nagging breeze, but there you go. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Oh guys, this is, hold on, well technically day 2, no, day 3, sorry, second full day. After yesterday, we tried fishing, I tried, say we, Try getting some bait, didn't work. Try getting some razor clams, that wasn't happening. So they just basically ended up, sort of having my rations that I've brought with me. I'm really having to ration them down now. So I'm feeling pretty hungry. I've just packed the tent away. I've not eaten anything this morning. I built a decent-ish fire last night, and I was hoping that there might have been some embers left over this morning to heat up. I was going to have some oats, but there's been, you probably hear it, there's quite it's not a really strong wind, but there's a constant wind. It's probably, I don't know, 10, 11 miles an hour, and it just ate the fire. The fire just burnt out. So this morning it was just cold. I could have made another fire, but it was a bit windy last night. Maybe not quite as windy as it was this morning, but yeah, it wasn't easy in this wind, because apart from trying to shelter, nestle the flame behind yourself, it's very difficult. And the wind, it keeps changing direction all the time. 1 minute it's coming from that way, next minute it's coming from that way. It's blowing around. Yeah, it's challenging. So, but for now, what I've had to do, I've had to retreat into the shade. It's nearly 3 o'clock. I've been out and round there, and despite there's some cloud cover, the UV is a lot stronger than what you think, and I can tell which direction I've been walking down the beach. I've been walking that way the majority of it. I've had to put some, it's not sun cream, Savlon. It's like a good all-purpose sort of skin healer, because I've got sunburn. I don't normally burn. Well, it's very, very rare I burn. The times I've burnt is when I've either been to the Canaries or around the Mediterranean, down that way. I think I've only ever burnt once in this country. Well, twice now. So, plan for now is just to basically just sit here, chill out, wait for the tide to come in. It's on its way in. Tide turned about an hour ago. Just over there's a nice deep rake, so when I cast out I should be in some deeper water, whereas down there I was probably only managing to, because I've only got a small weight on there, I can only really cast out probably about 30-40 yards at best, and because the rake was so shallow I was only probably casting in water probably half a metre to a metre deep at best. So with the steepness of that, I should be casting into waters that are about nearly 2 metres. So hopefully that might pay off. I'm still deciding whether or not to have the float on it. But yeah, so we'll try that. If that doesn't work, then we'll just see what we can do. Well, we'll just have to have rations again tonight. Although this time I think we'll be needing 1 packet of couscous. put 2 in last night. Didn't really need it, although it did leave me with some for breakfast this morning. So I don't know. Might do that. I've got 3 packets left, and I'm here the rest of today and tomorrow and Friday morning. So yeah. All in all, yeah, I don't know. I've walked about 6 or 7 miles today. I'm quite tired, so I'm just gonna chill out now. I mean, 6 or 7 miles isn't that far, but my pack weighs 30 pounds, so you know, it's quite, when you're carrying that much weight over a reasonable sort of distance-ish, but then it's, when you couple that and you're walking on sand, it's moving around, you can't take normal strides. When you push away, a lot of your energy is dissipated because you're moving the sand. It acts like a suspension. It's like when if you're on a bike, like a mountain bike, and you've got front and rear suspension, that's you actually lose 30% of the energy through the action of your suspension bobbing up and down when you're pedaling. Just because you're pushing it up and down rather than pushing the bike forward. So I think it's like a similar sort of thing to that. So you're burning way more, 30, maybe up to 30% more than what you would if you was walking on a pavement or just firmer ground in general. But anyway, I'm going to shut up for a bit. Just going to sit here, chill out, drink some water. Yeah, wait for the tide to come in. So guys, it's getting pretty late now. I'm quite tired. It's my last night. I've just sort of like finished packing away what I can pack away now. Sort of like sorted out my like fishing gear and a few bits. I put managed to fit the rest of my food and bits in my billy can. I'm not going to eat anymore. I'm not eating this evening. I don't particularly feel that hungry. I'm going to try and get a good night's sleep. I'm going to be up early-ish in the morning. Get the tent packed down and everything and head off. So just had my last little bit of battery left on my phone. I decided I'll check the weather forecast. It's been, what, 3 days since I saw the forecast, so I thought I'd see what it's up to. It's been more or less on the nose up till now, but there's forecasting rain from about 8 o'clock in the morning. Looks like it might be quite heavy, and I'd rather get the tent packed away dry than pack it away wet, carry it all the way home, have to take it out and dry it at home. So yeah, that's what I'm going to probably do. So unless I get a chance in the morning to do a little bit of more filming, this will probably be it. So I'll just say thanks for watching. There'll be more videos coming up. I'm going to do another coastal video. I'm going to go to a different spot though. I'm going to go further north to a different type of coastline, so rocky coastline, where I personally feel it's easier to gather wild foods there, like shellfish particularly, and safe shellfish. Even in the summer, there's limpets are always a good one that you can eat in the summer because they're a grazer. They're not a filter feeder like mussels. So you're not at risk of getting food poisoning. That sort of poisoning from contaminated seafood or shellfish is very, very serious. So yeah, might do like a day or two up there. That'd be good. I've got, you know, there's more videos to come, so please make sure you subscribe. You know, it'd be great to hear what you think about the channel so far as well. So, you know, put your comments down in the comment bar below. Click like and share. You know, it'd be nice to get these videos out to as many people as possible. That's why I'm doing them in the first place. So yeah, if you are watching this and you're not a subscriber, subscribe. And thank you to all my subscribers so far as well. It's you know, I really appreciate it. So yeah, happy days, good camping. See you soon.